Hello and welcome to the Mariana Dalto Show, the podcast where small business owners share their stories, insights, and strategies for success. I am your host, Mariana Dalto, and today we have an amazing guest with us, Liz Forman, who's the founder of Liz Forman Coaching. Liz is a seasoned mindset coach dedicated to helping creative leaders and media professionals bolster their confidence and discover their purpose. She encourages self-awareness and she challenges them with their limited belief by investigating their thinking patterns, their language, and their actions. Please join me in welcoming Liz Forman.
Thank you so much for
Welcome,
having me.
welcome,
I'm
welcome.
super excited. I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too. All right. So Liz, let's talk
Yes.
about your journey as a business owner. How did you become a mindset coach?
Well, it's interesting. My background is in science and fitness. And so I knew that I wanted to do something around that. So when I began my journey, I started off as a fitness coach, namely in strength and conditioning. And it lit me up. I just knew that that's where I wanted to be. I'd come from academia, which was kind of boring and not boring. I mean, it's good, but it wasn't lighting me up. I was just kind of going about my day and going to work, and I never felt fulfilled. And once I started helping others achieve things, especially in what they could do with their bodies and their minds, I knew that that's where I was supposed to be. And so my journey with coaching started back in 2009. And I've been slowly experimenting with different ways of how mindset affects either our body, mind, or spirit since then. So my work has taken many iterations, but it's always come back to mindset.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So who do you work with? Like who's your perfect client?
Well, so it's interesting. I always say I love to work with the willing, the ones that really want to make change in their lives. But the people that I generally work with are entertainment professionals. So I have worked in the entertainment world, as does my husband. And so many of the people that I know work in entertainment. So I say that I work with creative leaders and creative professionals, but also media professionals, because so much of entertainment now has kind of moved into the world of video games and comic books, and all of these people that are working in this creative industry, they have a desire to be their best self because they're putting themselves out on the line, with their creative energy. So those are the people that I serve, creative professionals.
And so what problem do you solve for them? How do you help them? Or how do they know that they need help? And then you can come in as a, problem solver for them.
So I guess the best way that I solve problems for creative professionals would be that so often the industry, the entertainment industry, is very uncertain. You're working on a project. It seems like you're in this feast mode. There's work coming in. You've got all of this. You're putting all of this time and energy and your hours into the day. And then all of a sudden the project ends. And it's a very volatile, uncertain industry. And so I help people with those waves of that uncertainty, build up their mindset, build up their confidence, and know that we can look at the industry as a part of who they are and their creativity, but also we can really build on their purpose and help them. That is like the undertow of kind of their whole experience is their purpose, and really dealing with what the industry means for them, to them, what that looks like, but really what do they mean to themselves, and how to get through that.
So is it like sometimes they need help when they are in between jobs and between gigs? Like it's like
Oh,
Okay,
both.
now
Yeah.
both. It's
Yeah,
also
both. Yeah,
while they're
because
doing the role. Yeah.
yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. I mean, they love to be doing what they're doing. It's something that they've worked really hard for. There's long hours that they put in, but it also can take its toll on them because they're creatively stressed out when they're on a project. But they're also that fear of when is this going to end is there when they're on the project. When the project ends, it's like, who's going to pick me up? What's it going to look like? What's in my future? And it's like a feast and famine kind of cycle.
Mm.
And there's a lot of scarcity that sets in. There's a lot of programming that happens in our minds. And so that, I think both the waves of, when they're working and when the job ends is kind of what we address.
So in your experience, what are the common limiting beliefs that these creative professionals struggle with, and then how do you help them overcome those obstacles, those limiting beliefs? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say a big part of limiting beliefs are at the creatives, um, kind of at their core, and it often shows up as imposter syndrome, that, which is what all of us deal with. But no matter what career we're in, no matter what we're doing, we're all dealing with this imposter syndrome. Am I good enough? Can I do this? I think with creatives, what ends up happening is it, like I said before, it is such an expression of like their talent that they see that they're really putting themselves out there. So there's a lot of fear that comes in.
Mm.
And with the limiting beliefs and fear, that really can have people feeling stuck. It can have people losing motivation, not knowing, you know, uh, if they're good enough. I mean, it's all the things that kind of are wrapped up in imposter syndrome, right?
Yes.
So I would say that's really the
So
big
now
limiting
that we
belief.
know that that's one of the key things that happens, can you share some success stories from your coaching practice that highlights the impact of that work, the work that you do, and how you see them really evolve and be better in what they need to be better at?
Absolutely. So I would say one of my clients that I've been working with recently has been a creative for several years. And she was running into situations where she wanted to have creative energy for her own pursuits of what she wanted to do outside of entertainment, and was also finding herself stuck in situations where she could no longer find her energy for her entertainment endeavors, because she was having a hard time finding her balance and giving everything and all parts of her to her job.
Mm.
And so the work that we really did around that was, um obviously cleaning up thoughts, really looking at what are the thought patterns that are happening, what are the feelings that are coming up so often based on those thoughts, and then what feelings are those, I mean, sorry, what thoughts are those feelings creating?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like a feedback loop. Sorry. It's like a feedback loop. I get passionate when I start talking. My hands start moving. But it's like thoughts, feelings, thoughts, feelings, thoughts, feelings, and then they forget to take action.
That's
And
right.
so what we started looking at was understanding what the thoughts were and breaking them down and really looking at them from all angles and getting into the feeling thoughts about, like, I would say, like, what brings me joy and what makes me anxious, and really being willing to do inquiry and investigate those kinds of thoughts so that we could look at how she could continue on her creative endeavor and find balance and not feel so stressed out by the work that she was doing for other people, so that she could equally give work and do work that she wanted to do for herself.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. It's like whatever thoughts you have, it really impacts how you really do perform, act,
Oh,
don't act. You may not take action. It's crazy. Like,
it's amazing. Like our brains, they are programmable. And if you don't take the time to really look at their automatic programming and program them yourself, they will just be programmed and you will
absolutely.
operate with that programming without
Yes.
being aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
that is the work that I do, is looking at that programming and
Yes.
really
And
breaking it apart.
I agree. And the coach always helps with that because if you are immersed in your own thoughts, you just don't see it sometimes that you need someone to make you aware, like where you're being stuck within
Yeah,
your patterns, your thought of patterns that you've been like dealing with within the past day, hours, week, like whatever it is.
all
It's
of it.
just crazy. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
totally agree with you.
That's right.
So let's talk about a little bit on some of the key mental shifts or habits that maybe you that have helped you as an entrepreneur and in your journey. What have you had change within your habits or some mindset shift that you have done that can help you, as you grow your business as a coach and also
Yeah.
when you do that as your business, then you also help other people within your coaching.
Yeah. I would say that the biggest shift that I have made in my life that has helped me help others is to focus on me. And um, I like really be in the energy of building me and spending that energy on that. I didn't do that for, I mean, I had a desire. I feel like I've always had like a growth mindset, in the sense that I've always wanted to strive for better for myself, even when I didn't understand it. But really taking the time to learn to meditate, to learn to journal, to learn to check in with myself, to learn to be honest with myself, to learn to be authentic, to learn to stop people pleasing, all of these things that I found myself doing in my everyday life were not serving me. And I had to learn these habits by spending time working on myself and learning to filter out what really had no business being in my mind and business competing for this precious time that I have, and really focusing on what I wanted to focus on. And knowing that, I'm going to know about things that are going on. I'm going to know about things that I have to have my attention on, but I don't have to waste all my good attention on things that are not serving me or helping me serve others.
That's great to say that because I agree. I've been in those shoes. I'm still trying to figure out
Yes,
how to put myself first. Sometimes, if you're a mom and you have kids,
oh,
it's just so hard to,
absolutely.
put yourself first and find time to, you know,
That's right.
to put yourself together for sure.
And it
So
was
what will be,
definitely harder for me. I mean, if I
yeah.
can just say, like, when my kids were younger, all I wanted to do was be there for them. And that was so, like, trying to put yourself first in the middle of trying to do that. It was really tough, but it was one of those things of driving. Physical fitness had been, that was my saving grace, and it had always been my saving grace, of learning to do hard things with my body allowed me to know that I was capable of doing hard things with my mind. And that
Mm.
has always been really important to me.
So if you were to say my new favorite thing that I do now is like now that you learn like how to put yourself first, what would be the number then your favorite things that you do now that is perfect for you?
Yeah, my new favorite thing to do now is practice consistently being consistent. Like, really trusting in consistency. I I believe that in my younger days, I had a lot of energy and I was zipping all around, and I would like try this, then try that, then try this, then do that. And I didn't trust in the consistency of just following through. And I think with practice and patience of learning to be consistent and believing in myself, in what I'm doing, and what I've learned, that has really, really helped me put me first. Knowing I'm working on a program, I'm putting my time in the day. I know that I have to consistently journal and consistently meditate, like all of these things that help me keep that focus. Working out, following my program for working out helps me show up for my clients to be consistent for them and help teach them consistency in
I agree. Consistency
what
is
they're doing.
key.
Yeah.
Yes. In
Yeah.
order for you to grow, consistency is key. You gotta
Yeah.
stay on top of it.
Yeah.
So, what has been the most rewarding aspect of you running your coaching business in all these years that you've been in business?
I think what has been the most rewarding to me is my clients' ahas, like really seeing them get it where it makes sense in their lives. Like I can say all the things I want to say all day, but like I am not really in the business of just telling them. I'm offering up information for them to find their own way with. So when they have that aha where it really makes sense, that lights me up. It makes me, it really, because I know what they're capable of, right? Like I know what is available to them in their lives if they want that shift. And so when they see that shift and they see that they were always just right on the edge of that, and it just took one little step, like that is really, really rewarding for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
And
It's
then,
their
so
growth.
now,
It's their growth.
yeah, it is growth. It's growth for
Right?
everyone. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what specific coaching services do you provide for clients, for your clients?
So right now I do strictly one-on-one coaching. I will eventually be doing group coaching again. But I have taken a step back from that and I'm back to one-on-one coaching because I think that it gives enough space to be able to teach all of the methods um, and really uh, dial those in specific to each individual as opposed to spreading it amongst many. I really like that connection with people. So one-on-one coaching is what I'm
So
doing.
how do you approach that initial consultation with a new client? What can they expect from that session when they, reach out to you?
Yeah, so all my initial consultations are free and people can go to my website and set up their own appointment with what makes sense for them and we have a Zoom call. And really I tailor my coaching specific to the individual. So they pick a time, we get on a call, we go through what's happening in their lives, where they are now, where they want to be, and what's the space in between. And we devise a plan of how to get them to where they want to be. And we kind of bridge that gap, right? Of like where they believe they are and what's standing in their way. And then from there, I mean, the consultation is they can walk away with understanding more about them, or they can walk away with signing up and working with me. And it's
Okay.
their choice.
And then when they, I'm sure when you do all those strategy calls just to talk to see how you can help them, what's the number one question that you get asked all the time from potential clients or even with current clients?
I would say the number one, I wouldn't say it's a question that I get asked as much as it is there is a deep desire to change the way things are and a deep fear that they can't change. And really understanding that I have seen amazing transformations from my clients. I mean, things that never were believed possible and turning their lives upside down in a good way. And I know, and I think also because I know what people are really capable of when we do the work and understand. I call it the heavy lifting, right? Like my whole thing is about mental fitness because I have that background in strength and conditioning. So I really look at it through that. I know that if we strengthen that mental fitness, they can get through anything. So really my work is helping people understand that in that call, that I know that they're capable of doing it. As long as they're willing, as long as they can see what it is that they want to change, they can change it because I have the tools to do it.
Right. They just need to put the work also, right?
Yeah.
Like make sure that they know that they want to change and then they can do it as long as they put the work and follow the tools and the resources and everything that you have to help
That's
them.
it.
Perfect.
That's it.
So, okay. So let's go back. So the people will go to your website. So what's the best way to reach out to you? Go to your website and what do they do when they get to the website?
Yeah. So on my website, I kept it really simple. It's one homepage so they can go and there's many opportunities for them to set up a free consult call. And they can just go on there, pick a time that works for them. We'll schedule a call together and it's really that easy. Then we get on Zoom and we have our call together.
Excellent. And then one more thing, if someone is not in the entertainment industry, are you open to also coach them?
Not all of my clients are in the entertainment industry. That is who I have worked with, but I have also worked with many other individuals. I'm a coach. I can coach all areas of life, but you do not have to be in any certain industry to be coached, right? With these tools run across the board for any industry, any individual, as long as they want that to happen for them.
Excellent. Well, this is great. Great to hear. Thank you so much, Liz,
Oh my
for
gosh,
joining
thank
us
you so
today.
much.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom, and I'm sure people will love to hear from you and everything that you do, and I'm sure that everything that you help with your clients has been great. So thank you also to our listeners for tuning in. We will add Liz website and anything else that she wants to share in the show notes, so you can reach out to her if you have any questions. If you want to book a consultation, a free consultation with her, you can go through the show notes and everything is going to be there. And please, for the listeners, do not forget to subscribe and leave a review if you really enjoy this episode. We're so happy to have you listen to our show. And thank you, Liz, again for joining us.
Thank you so much, Mariana. I had such a wonderful time. Thank you.